Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumo, and it's great to be on this show where we discuss all things books. You know, like I always say, there's a book for everybody, and there's a book for every topic. And when the year starts, we all go about setting new goals, new resolutions, you know, things that we want to achieve for the year. We're all fired up at the beginning of the year. It does die off by the third, fourth month for many people, though. People who set health goals and financial goals and so on, by the time they start hitting March, focus lost and all manner of distractions have come in. But let's hope we can pull it off this year, 2026. For me, one of my goals is health related, you know, focusing now on a bit of fitness. You're going to see a different Kunle in a few months, hopefully. Well, here's a book that I stumbled on. I met this gentleman in the UAE, the author of this book titled Decoding Fitness. And he gave me, you can see a signed copy there. Don't be jealous. A signed copy here. And I just put the book on my shelf, but as the new year was coming in, I said, oh, let me read this gentleman's book since I'm all focused on fitness and all that now. And it's a fascinating book, really, really fascinating. I'm going to read a bit of it to you. There's a section here, chapter 5 here is titled, You Are What You Eat. You are what you eat. It's powerful, isn't it? And it starts with a quote by Anthelme Brillat-Savarin, who says, tell me what you eat, and I will tell you what you are. So you are what you eat. And he says, Savarin says, tell me what you eat, and I will tell you what you are. So the authors begin by asking, what is food? And they go on to explain what food is. But I will jump down to the second paragraph. Over a period of time, you become what you eat. Each and every cell in your body is replaced in about 7 years. Did you know that? Each cell in your body is replaced in about 7 years. And new cells are made from the food you eat. So, take a critical look at what you have on your plate. It is going to be a part of you in some time. That's deep. Are you really that connected to the chocolate cake or that burger? Do you really want your body to function at a peak level? Then make sure you are rewarding your body with good quality food to work with. Begin by taking a closer look at what you consume and ask yourself a few key questions. Do you eat food rich in vitamins, enzymes, and nutrients that will nourish you and give the energy to keep going from morning to night? Or do you consume junk calories that can create a rush on your blood sugar and your waistline fat? So basically, we are what we eat, according to the authors of this book, Kailash Pinjani and Monica Singh. Hope I pronounced their names very well. You can see their picture right there at the back. Healthy looking guys. It was a gentleman there that I met, and he was looking quite fit. So what we eat determines the outcome of our bodies, so we need to take care of what we're eating. And so one of my resolutions this year is to check out on what I eat, be more careful and don't just eat anything. Just gobble anything and all that. So there's so many interesting things here. If you get yourself a copy of this book, you're really going to enjoy it if you're focused on fitness and health. Now, another part here, I'll read from page 75, which is very interesting, is your body has a second brain. Did you know that? Your body has a second brain. And guess what it is? According to the authors of this book, your second brain is your gut. That's from here, down, your guts. Okay? Millions of neurons in our guts play a crucial role in immunity, detoxification, nutrient absorption, hormone production, and vitamin synthesis. The information from the gut is transferred to the brain through neurotransmitters. Doctors, experts will know all these things better. We are just laymen, just reading and trying to learn. I'm sure those who are doctors listening to us right now, they know all these things. They understand all these things. Laymen like us have to read. We have to find out what is going on with our bodies and try as much as possible to learn and apply, which is what we're trying to do. So the gut is like a second brain. The gut is very important. What you allow to go down your gut and the health of your gut is important. I have first-hand knowledge of this because of a health challenge I had a few years back, which had to do with, gastro-related. And I learned a lot about the gastro then. So here they're saying, yes, you have got a second brain, your gut. Though the second brain is not capable of any independent decision-making or thought process, it certainly affects our emotions, mood, sex drive, and clarity of thought, and even your subjective perception of reality. Did you ever think that about the gut? Well, that's what they're saying here. The gut is that important. The second brain sends signals to our central brain of our state of mind. Our gut influences a significant part of our emotions. Those of you who are doctors watching this, send us your views about this. What do you think? Is this correct? Is this accurate? Let's know. Let's get your thoughts about it. But it seems convincing enough. And from daily experiences, you just know that this is very important in the human body. The common notion that we have all experienced butterflies in the stomach, signaling in the gut as part of our psychological stress response. So many things there. I mean, you just jump from, and there's a chapter here titled, Move Your, well, let's leave that for the kids, but you can read here. You know what they're talking about. Move it. Exercise. That's what it's saying. Exercise. So it talks about different things we need to do, we should do as much as possible. Brisk walking, jogging, skipping, dancing, swimming, sports generally, and yoga, becoming flexible, resistance training, etc. Just keep the body moving. So let's try and keep our bodies moving this 2026 as much as possible. Let's stay healthy. Let's learn about our health, our fitness, and all that. And hopefully, God protecting us by the end of the year, look and feel a lot better than we are right now. Yeah, so there is a book for everything. If you are thinking fitness, grab a book on fitness. If you are thinking finance, so many books written on finance. Everybody's talking about tax, the new taxation laws and so on. There are books. I've seen a few interesting new books on taxation in Nigeria. Grab one of them and read. So many different topics: marriage, relationships, psychology, healthcare, mental health, so many different topics. There's a book for every topic out there. And talking about that, I was watching yesterday, just had a glimpse of the match between Manchester United and Manchester City, and saw good old Sir Alex Ferguson. That just reminded me of Sir Alex Ferguson's books. Read one of them, the other one just been on my shelf. I said, I've got to go and read this book. This man is still alive and kicking. Legendary Sir Alex Ferguson. There are books on Sir Alex Ferguson. There are books he has authored himself. And some of these books are even used in business schools, Harvard, around the world, and so on. So there is a book for everything imaginable. We just need to figure out what we are interested in, get that book, and read, and we'll enjoy it. Well, in 2025, there were great literary prizes. Who were the winners of the top literary prizes in the world? And for now, let's stick to non-fiction because I have something let's stick to fiction because I have something to say about the non-fiction prizes. Enjoy this.
The value of a literary prize is often determined by prestige, scope, or the size of its monetary reward. Considering monetary reward, 5 of the biggest literary prizes in the world include 1. Millions Poet, UAE. Prize, about $1,362,000, over 1.94 billion naira. Millions Poet is one of the world's richest single literary awards, funded by Abu Dhabi authorities to promote Arabic poetry and performance. 2. Premio Planeta de Novela, Spain. Prize, $1,170,000, approximately 1.67 billion naira. The Premio Planeta de Novela is a Spanish literary prize awarded by the Spanish publisher Grupo Planeta to an original unpublished novel written in Spanish. 3. Nobel Prize in Literature, Sweden. Prize, $1,692,000, over 2.4 billion naira. The Nobel Prize in Literature is one of the 5 Nobel Prizes established by the will of Alfred Nobel in 1895. It has remained one of the world's most prestigious honors, having been awarded 118 times to 122 Nobel Prize laureates between 1901 and 2025. Meanwhile, the Western prizes like the Booker Prize, $67,025, over 95.2 million naira, or International Booker, $7,025 Singapore dollars, approximately 95.2 million naira shared, are prestigious but far lower in cash compared to these top ones, which are often boosted by regional/government funding. While they may not offer the same high monetary reward compared to some others, the Booker Prize especially is the most sought-after prize by writers. And here in Africa, the Nigeria Prize for Literature, sponsored by the Nigeria LNG, has remained the most outstanding literary prize in terms of the size of monetary reward of $100,000, approximately 142.04 million naira.
Yes, the Nigeria Prize for Literature is one of the biggest literary prizes in the world from money prize point of view. $100,000. $100,000 is a lot of money, and to give that to a writer, it's just incredible. Kudos to the NLNG for that. Keep it up. But when we talk about literary prizes, we're often talking about fiction. Many times, fiction. But what are the big non-fiction literary prizes? The one that will quickly jump at you, of course, is the very prestigious Pulitzer Prize. You win that prize and your life changes because your reputation globally changes. But these are the big non-fiction literary prizes. And not very many of them around the world, a few of them, but let's take a look at a few of those prizes that are famous, that are big. Enjoy this.
These leading international prizes honor outstanding non-fiction books that deepen knowledge, spark conversations, and influence thoughts. 1. Cundill History Prize, Canada. Prize money, $75,000. This is approximately 107 million naira. The Cundill History Prize is the highest monetary award for a book of non-fiction in English and often produces major academic and popular works. It is administered by McGill University. 2. Baillie Gifford Prize for Non-Fiction, UK. Prize money, approximately $65,000. This is over 95 million naira. The Baillie Gifford Prize for Non-Fiction is the UK's premier non-fiction award, which was formerly the Samuel Johnson Prize. It opens internationally to books published in the English language in the UK on any subject: history, science, politics, memoir, etc. 3. Pulitzer Prize for General Non-Fiction, USA. Prize money, $15,000, which is over 21.3 million naira. The prize honors a distinguished and appropriately documented book of nonfiction by an American author. Though their rewards differ, these prizes share a similar purpose.
AFCON is in the news now, African Cup of Nations. Oh, poor Nigeria. We lost out. Somebody is almost saying as usual. I've been watching AFCON for many years since I was a kid, and it seems like we always just fall out in the semi-finals. Yeah, we've won it 3 times, by the way. We've lost a few finals along the line, but it's always that semi-final obstacle. I'm pretty sure there is no other country in Africa that has reached the semi-finals as much as Nigeria has done. I don't have the stats, but I should check that. I shouldn't be far from the truth. We have lost so many semi-finals over the years, and then we have won so many bronze medals. I wonder if there's any other country that has won as many bronze medals as the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Well, AFCON is in the news. Everybody's talking about AFCON. Nigerians are heartbroken. Yeah, a little joy winning the usual bronze medal. Enough of bronze medals. Let's start winning that cup now. Egypt has won it 7, 8 times. The sports guys will know. They'll have the facts. But we need to start winning that cup more regularly. This is Nigeria. We're talking about one of the most talented countries on the continent when it comes to football. So we should be winning that trophy more. But it reminded us of our interview with one of the great legends of AFCON, as far as Nigeria is concerned, as far as the African continent is concerned, the legendary midfielder Sunday Olise, who coincidentally was one of the commentators for the AFCON tournament that just ended. And we had a fantastic, an interesting conversation with him some years ago in which he gave us peeps behind the curtain, just see what goes on back there. And it was all based on his book, which he authored. Not many Nigerian ex-internationals have written autobiographies or memoirs. Not many. We need a lot more. Sunday Olise has done that, and it was a pleasure speaking to him about his own autobiography, in which he revealed a number of things that happened behind the curtains. So let's show you a few minutes from that conversation we had with Sunday Olise, just in the spirit of the AFCON season. Enjoy this. So, Sunday, what inspired this this book? I was fascinated reading it, and being,
thanks.
as you know, a football fan myself, it took me down memory lane.
Yeah.
Your era was the golden era of Nigerian football, and this took me back to the 1994 Nations Cup, the 1994 World Cup in the USA. But beyond that, also your life.
Yeah.
What inspired you into football when you grew up, your first club, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, but what inspired this?
Well, over the years, Kunle, I've been having so much questions. Almost everywhere I go, especially from my countrymen. Like, how did you do this? How did you do this? What happened here? How were you able to get this far? What happened at this particular occasion? How can you share your experiences with us so that we can also use it? And I've also felt that, okay, in my way of giving back also, because I made some errors also along the line, just as, fortunately for me, the right choices were way, way much than the errors. So it's almost non-significant, the errors, although we learn from them anyway. So share it with somebody else so that they might not run into those errors that we made, or maybe make it smoother for them in their own way too.
Now I'm going to read a preview of a book to you. You guess the title of the book. You probably have not read the book, but we'll try and imagine, what kind of book is it? What kind of title will this book have? Okay, I enjoy this. It's a bit not too lengthy, but when her marriage falls apart, Ndidi is trapped by the wealth and power of her estranged husband, whose controlling mother exerts a troubling influence over Ndidi's daughter, Tola. Desperate to protect Tola from the family's slavish devotion to a cult-like church and its charismatic leader, Pastor Mike, Ndidi plays the role of the dutiful wife and daughter-in-law. When Tola vanishes, the brilliant detective Wally is assigned to the case and, with Ndidi's help, uncovers darker forces than the greed and megalomania of Pastor Mike's church. What Wally doesn't know is that the playground whispers that terrified Ndidi as a child of Juju, the Bomo child snatchers, and their Orishas have returned to haunt her. Now, that sounds like a thriller, right? Well, here is the book, and here is the title, Orisa. Well, a mother's journey to reclaim her daughter from an ancient power, Dele Shikwade. This is a book that is exciting to read. Orisa is a title that initially when you see it, you just think, is it about Orisa as in Orisha in Yoruba language, or what is it about? What you can see from what I've read here that it's a very thrilling book, and there's more to it. So you are going to listen to the author very soon, get to know the author, and get better introduced to this book. But meanwhile, I encourage you to find yourself a copy and dive into it, and let's know what you think about it. Now, meet Dele, the author. Enjoy this.
Hello, I'm Dele Shikwade, and I'm the author of Orisa. Orisa is classed in the genre of horror, but actually, personally, I'd classify it as book club fiction. It is essentially the story of the loss of a child through kidnap and the mother's desperate attempt to regain her child. It does have an aura of mysticism running through it because, of course, she has lost her child to a group that we in Nigeria know as the Bomo, who are worshippers of a religion, Ifa religion, and the child is to be sacrificed to an Orisha, hence the title of the book. I wrote it because as a boy, sitting outside my house on Majaro Street with my friends, someone would come along and say, the Bomo are in town. And at that point in time, and from then on, until we forgot about it, we would all make sure that we were home by dusk. The Bomo were very real, and what is in Orisa, although it is a work of fiction, is actually based on fact. And I wrote it because I think that Nigerians especially need to face up to the reality of ritual infanticide, which has existed, may still exist in our society. And you can't write about that without writing about the background, where it comes from. And it comes from Ifa worship and Orishas. I hope that people find the book entertaining. It's not meant to be a dark book that you read that gives you sleepless nights. But at the same time, someone said to me that it was quite profound. And so I hope it does address that aspect of it, which I feel is profound. I'm going to read you a section of the book, just to give you a feel for what I consider to be its truly dramatic moments. Night fell, but the reception showed no sign of winding down. If anything, the attendees were becoming more boisterous. Deji was staring into the bottom of a glass when a quiet voice interrupted him. Oga. He looked up and clenched his jaw. Pastor Mike's bodyguard stood in front of him. Can I help you? Deji rifled his memory for the man's name. Bolaji, sir. Yes, sorry, my mind's a mess. Bolaji, what can I do for you? Pastor say, make I ask if you want us to clear the place for you. Clear? Deji took a moment to catch on. Oh, clear. Yes, sir. Deji clasped his hands in prayer. Please. He thought it would take time to persuade people to leave, but Bolaji and the bouncers turned off the music, shut the bar, emptied the dance floor, got waiters stacking tables and chairs, and had everyone off the premises in 30 minutes. When Chichi and Bode were being asked to move on, Deji hid behind a pillar and let the eviction happen. Bolaji was charming but firm, and Deji remembered that Pastor Mike's people did this kind of thing all the time. Afterwards, Deji wanted to thank Pastor Mike for his man's assistance, but Bolaji was even better at removing his boss from an event than he was at shutting it down. Ndidi came down a little later, saying a migraine had forced her to take a break. Alone and tired, they stared at each other across a coffee table. You okay, she asked. I suppose so. You? I suppose so, though that headache came on suddenly. I don't think I was missed. I'm sure Chichi missed you. Where's Tola? Did Joy put her to bed? Ndidi felt ashamed that she didn't know where Tola was. She'd been so wrapped up in her problems, she'd hardly given the poor girl a thought since they'd got back from church. She must have done, she said, getting to her feet and making her way to Tola's room. In her mind, Ndidi knew Joy had never put Tola to bed and wouldn't do so without being asked. Tola wasn't in her room or any room in the house. Tola! The first call was just loud enough to be heard indoors. The last was an anguished scream outside in the dark. Nobody had seen Tola in hours. She was gone. So that's me, Dele Shikwade, just reading a short section from Orisa.
Get yourself a copy of that book, read it, and let's know what you think about it. Hopefully, we'll get the author, Dele Shikwade, on this show very soon and have a conversation around the book so that we can introduce it better to you. This is where we have to end the show today. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.